Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're looking way ahead to the year 2050 to tackle a huge question. What is artificial intelligence actually going to look like? It's a topic that's filled with so much hype and, let's be honest, a lot of fear. But we're going to cut through all that noise by digging into some solid academic research. So, let's dive in.
This right here is the central question, isn't it? Is AI going to become our greatest partner, helping us solve some of the world's biggest problems? Or is it going to create a whole new set of challenges, maybe ones that outweigh all the good stuff? That's the real tension we're going to be exploring.
So, where are we getting all this from? Well, our guide for this journey is a paper called Artificial Intelligence 2050. We're grounding this whole thing in real academic research to get the clearest possible picture of what's on the horizon.
Okay, so before we can look forward, we've got to look back, right? To really get where we're going, we first have to understand where we've been. So let's do a quick rewind on how AI went from just an idea to the powerhouse it is today.
You know, this whole thing really kicked off in the middle of the 20th century with pioneers like Alan Turing asking that big question, can machines think? But after all that initial excitement, we hit the AI winters, these long, kind of depressing periods where progress just stalled because the tech couldn't keep up with the promises. But then, boom, the 2010s hit and the deep learning boom, powered by tons of data and computing power, brought us to where we are today, where AI is pretty much woven into everything we do.
So with that history in mind, where's this all headed? Okay, now for the really fun part. Let's get into the predictions for 2050.
And I want you to notice the language here, a true collaborative partner. This is a huge shift. We're not just talking about AI as a tool that we tell what to do. The paper is predicting a future where we're working with AI side by side like a coworker. That changes the game for everything, from how we create art to how we do science. And think about what that partnership could do. I mean, it's revolutionary. In healthcare, we're talking about real-time diagnostics and treatments made just for your body. For climate change, AI could manage our energy grids with incredible efficiency. In education, imagine a personalized AI tutor for every single student on the planet. Wow. And in transportation, self-driving cars and trucks could make our roads way safer and supply chains unbelievably efficient.
Okay, but let's be real. This amazing future, it's not guaranteed, not by a long shot. The road to 2050 is packed with some pretty big hurdles, tech hurdles, ethical ones, social ones, that we have to navigate really, really carefully if we want to get the good stuff without the bad.
And this chart breaks down those hurdles for us pretty clearly. We're still running into tech limits. Things like getting AI to have common sense. We're facing huge ethical and legal questions, like who's responsible when an AI makes a mistake. The potential for economic disruption is massive, especially for jobs. And of course, there are the ever-present security and privacy risks we have to solve. Let's look at a real-world example to make this super clear. Take hiring. On the one hand, the promise is awesome, right? AI can zip through thousands of resumes to find the perfect person. But here's the flip side, the peril. If that AI is trained on biased data from the past, it could end up just making existing inequalities even worse. It's a perfect example of how for every upside, there's a downside we absolutely have to watch out for. And here's one challenge that honestly doesn't get talked about enough, the environmental cost. Training these giant AI models takes a staggering amount of computer power, which uses a ton of energy, which in turn leaves a pretty big carbon footprint. And that's something we just can't ignore. But okay, it's not all doom and gloom. Let's flip the script and talk about the incredible innovations that are not only pushing AI forward, but might actually help us solve some of these big problems. And right at the top of that list, quantum computing. Now, without getting too deep in the weeds, just think of it as a completely new kind of computing that is mind-bogglingly more powerful than anything we have today. See, this isn't just about being faster. It's about a totally different way of solving problems. This could be the key that unlocks AI breakthroughs in areas like medicine and material science that we can't even dream of solving right now.
But it's not just about quantum. Progress is happening everywhere. Machine learning itself is getting way, way smarter. Natural language processing is making our chats with computers feel almost human. We're also building specialized hardware, custom chips designed just for AI, making it faster and more efficient. And maybe most importantly, we're seeing people from different fields finally working together.
And that's right there is the key. The biggest breakthroughs aren't going to come from coders locked away in a room by themselves. It's when you bring AI together with fields like neuroscience, ethics, and biology that you start to find solutions to the really complex problems. It's how we build AI that's not just more powerful, but also more responsible and, better aligned with what we as humans actually want.
So, all this tech is amazing, but it's not the whole story. The final and maybe most critical piece of this whole puzzle is policy and regulation. It's about us, people, making sure this giant ship is heading in the right direction. And let me tell you, for the people making the rules, this is a super tough balancing act. On one side, you want to encourage all this incredible innovation, but on the other, you have to put in safeguards to protect people from harm and bias. You lean too far one way, you choke out all the cool new ideas. Lean too far the other way, and you've got unchecked technology running wild. So what should we be doing? Well, the research points to a few big priorities. We need universal standards for ethics and transparency, so everyone's on the same page. We've got to deal with the way AI affects global competition and security. And we need regulations that are flexible enough to change as the tech does. But the big one? This can't happen in a vacuum. It absolutely has to be a global team effort between governments, companies, and researchers. Look, at the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. The incredible potential of AI is right there, within our reach. But whether we get there or not, that's not a tech problem. That's going to depend entirely on us, on our collective commitment to responsible development, smart regulation, and an unwavering focus on ethics. Because here's the thing, the future of AI isn't some movie that's already been filmed. It's not just going to happen to us. It's something we are all actively building, together, right now, with every single choice we make. The road to 2050 is completely unwritten, so the final question is, what role will you play in shaping it?